grabbing somebody by their hair and pulling their head down where their vertical plane is broken is very hard to fight. So if my head is down and someone's got my hair or a hoodie, my punches end up being like this, where their punches are very aggressively coming into me, and you lose control of how you can fight. It also controls your balance. So if I have Madison's hair, I can take her and move her wherever I want and drag her. So you need to be able to deal with that grip. So, and the biggest mistake is the fear takes over, and then the person wants to move the rest of their body away, which leaves the head off balance. So if I grab Maddie here and her hips move away from her, she's giving me the angle that I need to control the head. She's lowering her head by moving her hips back. So the greatest thing you can do is, if they grab your neck, is to bring your shoulders up to your ear, which locks your neck and your upper body. So Madison and I, by bringing our shoulders up, now if you pull our head, at least it's connected to our torso. It's this way. Then the next thing you want to do is connect your hips and upper body together so they move in a plane. So if I grab the neck, everything tightens up and moves together vertically. So I'm grabbing her head. Instinctively, she understands. Her shoulders come up. This also allows that grip to move a little bit looser if it's not on the actual hair. But even if it's on the hair, she's up. Next thing you do, she brings up her guard. So her hands are up. Both hands, please. Her hands are here, or even if she gets it on the outside, she's structured in a way where she can deliver strikes. She's not flailing around trying to hit my body. She's in a position where she can deliver strikes, put fingers in my eyes, the foul tactics that we're going to discuss. But this is essentially what I want. The more I bring her towards me, the more she's got to continue bringing her hips underneath and staying vertical. So if I lower her head because I got her by surprise, see how she moves her hips in? So this time, allow your body to drop and then move your hips back into position. So she's off position, she brings her hips in. It looks initially like she's put herself more in danger because she's gotten closer to me, but the whole point is she can deliver damage at that point. When her head is down, she can't do anything. She can't get to her spray, her pepper spray, let's say, or any kind of weapon. It's much harder to get to. If I pull her in and her hands come up, she could, theoretically, she could be doing it, she could be hitting, and her other hand could be reaching for her waistline and getting something. And at that moment, if you're training the rest of the ISR-CAT system, you'll see it all tie together. Posture is broken. She regains it and gets to her guard. That's key. That's number one. Now, the other thing you have to deal with if you're the smaller individual, whether it's a small framed officer, or in this case, a woman, the idea is if she doesn't move her hips back and I'm able to get to her hips, I can lift easily. There's no way for her to stop me from lifting, then we have to deal with that aspect. But if she can get her hips back, it doesn't allow me to lift. Even a much stronger person can't lift you because of the mechanics involved. So I'll show you what I mean. If she's vertical, it's an easy lift. Now, she's going to put her thumbs inside my hips from the inside position. Now, what I want you to see is the more she moves her hips back, I no longer have the ability to lift her up in the air. We're not going to stay with that structure. It's the first thing we teach as a response. If your neck is being grabbed, your hips have to be under your head. If your hips are being grabbed, your hips have to be further back from the person. I can see what you're thinking. There's combinations. So if I pull her head forward and she keeps her structure vertical, she's here. That's how she's fighting. That's where she's optimally able to deliver strikes and or get to her weapons. Now, if I instinctively want to grab her waist now, she has to make the adjustment. So she became vertical now as I grabbed her neck, but, so they can see it, if I reach for her hips, and she's back to that moment. Because now I can't lift her up. If I reach for her neck, she's back to vertical forward. By doing that drill back and forth, you get your students maybe 5 minutes, you work a couple of rounds. This back and forth gets their bodies used to how they're going to hit and fight. So I'll give you an example. If I grab her hips and her hips go backwards, go ahead and do the framing with your hands. Good. From this position, she can now naturally move away and circle. And as she moves away and circles, it opens up my legs. That way she can kick. So the concept that they teach in women's self-defense a lot, which is attack the eyes, attack the groin, it's easier said than done in motion. But that particular technique, if you hit out and circle, forces the male or the attacker to open their legs, allowing the kick. So just to quickly demonstrate again, if I grab her neck, her hips go vertical. If I go for her hips, she moves her hips back. By backing away in fear and responding and circling them just a little bit, my legs are now available and open for her to get a kick. She doesn't have to have her eyes looking at what she's striking. Naturally, by her circling out, my legs will be open and she can deliver the kick. I might have this and she breaks that, and then I grab her hair, she's got to lock her body up. So that, then all of a sudden I grab her waist, she's got to get her hips back. These are things that combine depending on what they're doing. The idea of having these basics is you're pretty much set anywhere in front to be able to deal with it.